Talk with Chet, otherwise known as Tech for Experts and Authors. I guess you might have guessed, my name's Chet Davis. This week we're going to be focusing on traveling with your technology. And we're going to break it down into 5 different days. Today is planning and packing. Tomorrow, powering your tech on the go. Wednesday, we're going to focus on tech in the airplane. Thursday, tech in the car and the train. And Friday, tech at your resort, tech at your hotel. And I think it'll be a fun week because technology, I really see my technology that comes with me as my personal digital travel assistant. Of course, I'm particular about that. In fact, I have an online course in this, and I'll share that link later in the week. But let's jump in now. So let's say you're planning out your trip, and let me just show you a couple of websites that I use. There's tons of websites related to travel. The travel industry has really taken advantage of the internet and technology and all the access to tons of information, let alone booking opportunities, etc. So a lot of times you want to be thoughtful and careful. If you've heard of a wonderful place to go and you go to check out a website, make sure you click on the About page of the website to find out who sponsors that website. If it's the Convention and Visitors Bureau, remember that's their job. That's their job, is to get you there. I prefer an unbiased, or I should say a less biased review. And one of the places that I've found in the last few years is TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor, I find, has a range of good information about the places I may want to go. It not only talks about hotels and resorts, transportation, activities, adventures while you're there, but it can also sometimes talk about the parks and just the area and give us a really good sense of, I would never come here with my family, or I would never come here in the winter, that kind of thing. We had an awful experience, or we had a fabulous experience here in the spring or the summer, and definitely planning to come back to this area of the world. So TripAdvisor, I do like because of the ratings as well, and it gives you a range of some good information, photos not only of the resorts. You can actually book through TripAdvisor too, and that's a relatively new thing. It used to be they would guide you to another booking website, but you can book through there too. So TripAdvisor is one of my top places to go just to kind of check stuff out. Now, one of the things I have learned to really enjoy, particularly if you're going to another country, is when you can afford it, and it's well worth the investment, is to hire a local tour guide. Hire a tour guide who speaks the local language, who's from that culture. It enriches the experience immensely. Last summer, my family and I, we went to Southeast Asia, Thailand, Cambodia, and Laos. And we had local guides in each of the places, and it so enriched the experience. In Cambodia, the Angkor Wat Temple Complex, and I'll put a link to photos in the show notes today too. Absolutely fabulous, and we would not have had the kind of experience if we'd just gone by ourselves, or just even used a good guidebook. The local guide talking to the people there as we went out into the country really got a sense of this slice of life, and it so enriched the experience. Tours by Locals is a company we use to access a number of our guides, and I'm not an affiliate. I don't get commissioned by sending you there. It's just somebody that I've used myself. toursbylocals.com, and they have tour guides in many of the different areas around the world, even domestically. I've not used them domestically, only internationally. I find it to be very, very useful. Now, once you have a sense of where you're heading and maybe the guide, you may want to find a place to park your head at night, to put your head on the pillow. In other words, a hotel or some kind of lodging. I previously have used Travelocity a great deal. I've used Expedia. I've booked hotels.com, all that kind of stuff. I felt most comfortable with Travelocity. The reason why is, rather than just sending me off, there were 1 or 2 times, used to travel a lot for business, and I had issues with a car reservation or some other reservation. I would call Travelocity, and their staff would navigate with the provider, the local provider. They say, could you please put them on the phone? And they would navigate because they have the buying power, right? And where I'm just a single customer that this person doesn't know me from Adam in front of them. So very, very useful. So let me pop over and show you that. So I've moved to Trivago if it's just hotels. The nice thing is, and yes, their television advertisements over the last 6 months had an impact on me. Trivago, Trivago.com, is an aggregator. In other words, they search all the hotel sites. Now, unlike Travelocity, they don't have a central reservation agent, so they're not going to stand up for me. But I've found that they do a great job at searching for hotels in a particular area. In fact, I booked an upcoming road trip for 4 hotels over 4 different nights in 4 different places, and found that I really like their layout. I find it very easy to use. So if you're just booking hotels, they don't do rental car, they don't do air flights, etc. Trivago is a hotel aggregator. I find them very, very useful. Last thing I want to show you over here is I have used Vrbo, and VRBO, capital letter VRBO, an acronym that stands for Vacation Rental by Owner. Vacation Rental by Owner. And you can put in a particular place you're going to go. It's like Airbnb. I believe it came out a little bit before Airbnb. I actually have used them. I'm a satisfied customer on the island of Hawaii a few years ago with a family. But we rented a little tiny cottage on the island of Kauai right across from the beach. Fabulous. I really enjoyed the service. And it's more hearsay than anything else. But I've heard some things about Airbnb that I'm less thrilled about. I do have friends that have used them domestically and internationally and really like Airbnb. But sometimes it's your gut, right? And I have really liked VRBO, Vacation Rental by Owner, and I have used them as well myself. What I'd like to do is so let's say I've got where I'm headed. I've identified a guide if it's appropriate for the trip. I've found a place to sleep overnight, lodging, and now it's time to do some packing and lay out my itinerary. So I'm going to go ahead and fire up my iPhone onto this second display here. By the way, I use an app called Reflector 2 that lets me show my iPhone on this display over here. Okay, so what I want to show you is 2 apps in particular. Again, I have an online course all about traveling with your digital device, but I want to focus on some highlights today. First one is there's a number of different apps for packing, and different people like different apps. I like this one here, Pack Point. What's nice is you identify where you're going, the specific location, and then it says, okay, well, pick out some activities. So I'm heading to San Diego for a very short trip this week, end of this week. Actually looking for colleges for my youngest son. And one of the things it says, okay, where are you going to go? Is this business or is this leisure? And I put leisure because it's more leisure than business. And then pick some of the leisure activities. So I picked the pool and I picked the beach. And what it does is it comes up, there's a forecast at the top, weather forecast. And then it says, okay, if you're going to swimming, make sure you take your pool swimsuit, goggles, sandals, beach swimsuit, etc. And then it goes to essentials, light jacket, chapstick, vitamins. You can add your own components to these too. You can customize packing templates. Now, this is a free app in its base format. You see at the bottom here, you can customize packing template. That's Pack Point Premium, so you do pay extra if you want to customize it. The other way, of course, is what my wife does. Make your travel list in Word or Pages or Google Docs even, and then you just print it out each time you go on a trip. But you know me, I like gadgets and I like technology, and so this works really well for me. The nice thing about this is you are very less likely to forget something each time, and there's nothing worse than having this fabulous trip and forgetting something that ends up being really important, and either not having it or spending a great deal of money on location to pick it up. Okay, so that's something I highly recommend that I use, is a packing app that goes on your iPhone or your iPad or your other smartphone. The other thing that I like to do is put my trip in an itinerary app. There are a number of them. I've tried a couple of them. I keep coming back to Tripcase, and I have the premium version. It goes across multiple devices. The nice thing is once you get an airline reservation, you send it to a specific email address tied to your account. Actually, your email address is tied to your account. So from me, it comes from my email address, and then it says, okay, I've attached that to your trip. So you can see what's cool is it lays out your trip. So you've got 2 different versions. You've got the timeline version here. So there's my air flights. This was our trip to Indochina, to Southeast Asia last summer. Tokyo to Bangkok, Oakland to Seattle, Seattle to Tokyo, etc. And then hotels. and then transfers, and then hotels, and then another airline flight, and really, really wonderful. You can also see it in this view here. And he says, where do you go? Trips. There we go. Showing me the different trips. You can enter information manually as well, and very, very useful app. And it's being finicky for me now, of course, right? But I have had great luck with it. Again, it's called TripCase. I got the premium version. I believe it was $1.99 US. And I find it works very, very well, except right now it's being finicky. And I don't have any upcoming trips. I have the existing trip. So I'm going to come back off of that while it does its thing. The other thing that I do and I recommend is hotel itineraries. I do, especially if I'm traveling internationally, okay, or traveling for business. I want to make sure I have all the pertinent information with me. I do recommend going ahead, both having a printed copy. Sorry for those of you who are non-paper fans, but I also will upload that to my device. You can make PDFs, and in last week's episode I showed you how to put a PDF on your smartphone, on your tablet. I will also upload it to the cloud, so I'll put it in my Google Drive. The benefit there is if I lose my device, if I lose my luggage and the printed copies are gone, I have the printed version of my itinerary. I also will do a photocopy of my passport and temporarily put it in my Google Drive secure during the duration of an international trip, because I can go to the computer at the hotel concierge desk and access these documents, even if I've lost them everywhere else. So very, very useful. Okay, so some tips today with preparing, planning, and packing for your vacations, for your trips, maybe this summer or business-related trips. And I hope you find that useful. Tomorrow we're going to jump into powering your technology on the go. So how do you keep your devices powered? And I've got some tips and thoughts about that. Chet Davis, your technology tutor. Thanks for tuning in today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 6:45 a.m. The recording, of course, will be on my website at yourtechnologytutor.com. Go ahead and like the page if you haven't already. Please invite your friends, because sharing is caring. You care about your friends. You want them to access this good information, and hopefully maybe you care about me and making sure that people have access to this useful information. Chet Davis asking you to go out there and make it a great day. Bye-bye now.